I guess I would say the biggest news of the day is all of the primaries that happened in America last night. There were a bunch of primaries all over the country. Uh, the two that I was keeping track of was the Massie one, which, newsflash, Massie did not win, indicating that Israel still has a huge influence, like APAC in particular, has a huge influence on American politics, at least in the Republican Party, maybe not in the Democrat Party as much anymore. And the other one was, what was his name? Carr or something? Or what? Oh my gosh. Well, maybe they'll get into it. Democratic primary. Oh, here. I think this had yeah, Rabb. Man, dude, I'm so terrible at remembering these names. Okay, Chris Rabb. That was the other one who I think he had been on Hassan's stream or something at one point. And I think that he was generally considered, a pretty good candidate, and he won as well. So that's good. But anyway, let's go ahead and watch this video. This is from CNN. I'm assuming they'll go over a lot of the either polling or actual results. This is from 10 hours ago, so I'm assuming they had most of the results in by that point. So let's go ahead and watch this, and then we'll try and see, try and maybe get some takeaways from the whole primary situation from last night. I want to be clear up front, though. I am not a person who knows all of these candidates all across the country. I don't pay 100% attention to every local election in every location, like every House race across the country. I only know some of the key figures that I've seen on the various content shows that I watch. So I'm not going to be super familiar with a lot of these people, but I'll try and give my best analysis based on what I do know. So,
Harry, I mean,
let's go.
obviously, when the president said today that he was about to endorse in Texas, everyone was waiting to see if it would really happen. And then came the Truth Social post.
Yeah, it really happened. It really happened. And I can't think of an endorsement in Republican politics that has ever been as important as Donald John Trump's endorsement. And you see it in Texas. You saw, obviously, in Kentucky earlier tonight. You saw it in Louisiana over the weekend. And you see it in the Texas polling as well. Because just take a look here. Impact of Trump's endorsement in Texas and among Republicans. Look at what you see here. 55% of Republicans say that you would be more likely to vote for the candidate Donald Trump endorses. You see 36% say no impact. Look at this, though. Just 9.
Yeah. Trump, it's still Trump's party, man. It's still Trump's party. Anybody who thinks that Trump is that he is not the kingmaker or whatever of the Republican Party is still living in a fantasy world. A lot of people try to pretend that based on his Trump's incredible unpopularity, but his incredible unpopularity is not coming from likely Republican voters. It's coming from independents. It's coming from people who have who are maybe more unaligned now in terms of of their party preference. But the base of the Republican Party and who are the people who are going to definitely be coming out to vote in primaries are still 100% on Donald Trump's side, and they will be I don't even know if there is literal economic material conditions that are going to make these people change. As everything is getting worse for everybody around the country in terms of their finances. I just don't think that they care. I think that they're fine suffering. They will literally materially suffer in their personal lives in order to continue voting for whoever Trump says to vote for. So I just don't. I think that it's a little bit of hopium to think that the Republicans are turning on Trump. I don't think that's going to happen. But I think that. But obviously, when it's a different story when it comes to the actual primary elections that are going to be against Democrats as opposed to, or sorry, when it comes to the actual the real elections in November. We'll see what happens then. I know Democrats right now have about like the generic Democrat has about an 11% advantage over a generic Republican, which is unprecedented in terms of that. But I always say, though, never get your hopes up when it comes to the Democrats. They will find a way to lose. Okay. They will find a way to lose. Don't worry. Like, it won't be as much of a bloodbath as I think we're hoping. I mean, I really hope it is, but I just have so little faith in the Democratic Party. But anyway, I'm hoping that they actually go over the results a little bit. But it looks like they're going over the Tallarico Paxton thing. Let me see if I can find a different video that has the results from last night, because that's what I was looking for. Let's see. Primary results. Here, I'll just pull it down and you can watch me try to find something. Here's the Republican primary results. Okay, let's go ahead and I guess let's watch this one about the Republican primary results from 9 hours ago. I'm hoping this at least has the stuff on Massie. That's the one that I want to cover the most.
Here to break down all of tonight's critical results, what this could all mean for November. He is our friend, the co-host of America's Newsroom. He's at his big board. Our very own Bill Hemmer is with us. Bill, what a night.
Hey, Sean, yeah, good evening to you. In the end, you're going to find that President Trump is a big winner here, because wherever he went out and put his thumb on the scale, he has turned out to be a winner tonight. I'm going to start first with the House race. I'll take you to a senator's race and then a governor's race as we go around the dial here. This is Congressional District 4 in Kentucky. It's northern Kentucky. It's got Cincinnati to the north, Lexington to the south, Louisville to the southwest here. Okay, Sean, this district represented by Thomas Massie for 14 years. Okay, 7 terms, looking for an 8th term. These are all the counties, 21 of them. At last count, Thomas Massie was leading in one county, and his lead in a second county was razor thin. If that holds up, Gowrine's going to win 19 of the 21 counties at a minimum. A lot of these are rural counties here. They're deep red. They went for Donald Trump in a significant way in 2024, easily 75% of the vote over Kamala Harris. These northern 3 counties border the Ohio River with Cincinnati, Boone, Kent, and Campbell. That accounts for 2/3 of the vote for the entire district, and they have gone for the challenger, Ed Gowrine, as well. So that is one on the board for the president as he was trying to pick off Thomas Massie, and he's really been a target for some time there. Also in the state of Georgia, I'll take you over here to the Senate race. Andy.
Well, let's discuss So Thomas Massie lost. I think the end tally was like 54-45 or something, or 55-45, something along those lines, where this new, like, straight out of the CIA Gain guy or whatever his name was, was that his name? I can't remember. But he was like he had like a background that sounded like he was straight from the CIA. Like, it was crazy. But he ended up winning. He was the Trump endorsed pick. Thomas Massie, I'm assuming most people are aware, is one of the very few Republicans that I actually have even a slightest amount of respect for. Don't get me wrong. I mean, he's still, like, when it comes to like economic policy and stuff, like, he's still a goon, like, he's still a goober. I dislike him. But he does have integrity when it comes to certain issues, particularly when it comes to the war in Iran. I think he was very good on that. He was against it and principled against that. I think he's like more libertarian or something, if I had to guess. I don't know everything about him, but and then for being anti-pedophile, I was very impressed. It's hard, right? Being an anti-pedophile in the party of Donald Trump, the Republican Party, the pedophiles, basically, like, they're all like pedo protectors, you know. So it's like that is, I mean, you know, that takes a lot of courage, I think. So him and Ro Khanna's crusade against Trump when it comes to Jeffrey Epstein was very good. I think something, I just wish that more people had integrity on some issues, even if I even if I disagree with them, like I said, on a lot of policies, I wish that there were people who had more integrity. But yeah, so he lost. And I think that AIPAC spent like $15 million on them. AIPAC spending on Massie race. $9 million, it said, on this thing that I'm reading right now. Overall ad spending was 32 million though, so I bet it was higher than 9 million. It might have been a little bit more dark money, a little bit more hidden, but yeah. So this also goes to show that while Israel, Israel, when it comes to the Democratic Party, right, is a done deal. I think that if AIPAC spent this much money openly in a Democratic primary, that they would not I don't think that it would work. I think that the people would reject it at this point, which is good. That's a good sign, right? And one day the Republican Party will be the same way. But I think that what we're seeing really, though, is that the Republican Party, I think their opinions on Israel are shifting, but I think the majority of them are still pro-Israel, generally speaking. It is obviously divided along generations, like it was originally with the Democratic Party. Like it originally in the Democratic Party, it was divided among generations, and to some extent there is still a divide in the Democratic Party amongst generations. But most people, even older people, are starting to come on board, and it's essentially a done deal. Like it's a 90-10 issue with the Democrats. So I don't think this sort of spending in the Democratic Party would work anymore, even the ungodly amounts that they are spending. But when it comes to the Republican Party, I think that it probably still works to an extent. Number one, because I don't think they're as principled, and I don't think the voters really care that much about I don't think they care as much, I would say, about Israel, because they're coming at it more from a we do not want to we don't want to be like, they come at it from more of like, it's humiliating, right? It's humiliating the way that Israel manipulates America and how Israel buys America and forces America to do its bidding all the time, right? Like, it's like they feel like it's humiliating and embarrassing. And then also they some of them want to, focus more on fascism at home instead of like fascism abroad, right? So instead of spending all of our money to fund fascism in Israel, they want to spend all that money to fund fascism at home. Like, so those are like the probably reasons that they do, but that just goes, but that's not a very, I think, as motivating of a factor as being against genocide, right? Which is where the Democrats are, or most of the Democrats who are against Israel. Like, I think that's a much more motivating factor to vote against that stuff. And then also Donald Trump in particular is bought and paid for by Israel, and they have pictures of him in a vault somewhere. So, so Donald Trump, and he still commands the Republican Party. So, there might be conflicting things going on in the heads of a lot of these people who are voting, in terms of maybe they aren't that pro-Israel, but still Donald Trump endorsed this guy, so he must be good, right? Like that's probably what a lot of people thought. So that's kind of like my general analysis on the Thomas Massie thing. I will say this though, in the same way that I used to say this about the Democrats, I would talk about how when Cori Bush was ousted, or Jamal Bowman was ousted by a bunch of AIPAC money, they had to spend ungodly amounts of money, right? They had to spend like $10 million to oust each of those individuals. Or maybe it was a little bit less, I can't remember, but they had to spend a ton of money to oust those individuals. And I like to always take like a little bit of advice from, or not advice, but inspiration from Palestinian resistance, and that you don't necessarily win every battle, but every time you make it more costly and more expensive for AIPAC to buy our elections and these seats, like at this point, I think to buy a seat in a Democratic primary, I don't know if it's possible, but they would have, if it was possible, they would have to spend like $50 million, or $100 million. Like, you keep making it unfeasible and unmanageable to keep up the amount of money that they're spending on this stuff. And in the same way, I think it's going to happen with Republicans. It's going to become more and more expensive every single time for Israel to buy these elections, especially after Donald Trump is gone. And if the next person who gets into office like isn't as ideologically committed, or the next person who leads the torch for, or holds the torch for MAGA or whatever, is not so ideologically tied to Israel, or I don't even think Trump is really ideologically tied to like Zionism or anything, but I think that he is. I do think they probably have some form of like blackmail on him or something. And so like if the next person doesn't have that, then I think that the people in general will flip pretty quickly once their cult leader does not isn't out there advocating for the great nation state of Israel or whatever, right? So anyway, that's my high level thoughts on the Massie situation.
On the board for the president, as he was trying to pick off Thomas Massie, and he's really been a target for some time there. Also in the state of Georgia, I'll take you over here to the Senate race. Andy Barr, you might remember him as a congressman.
I think you meant Kentucky.
Around the Lexington area. He wants to replace Mitch McConnell. An easy winner tonight. It was a three-way race. Again, in Kentucky, you just need a simple majority. You don't have to get that 50% threshold. So Andy Barr, with almost 60% of the vote, easily defeating Daniel Cameron, who used to be the AG there in the state of Kentucky. The president also endorsed Andy Barr early on. So in this contest tonight, he's 2 for 2. Let me pop out here for a moment, Sean, and show you.
Bill, let me just add one thing, if I may.
You may go.
Ed Gowline, the AP has now called that race and called it for the Trump-endorsed candidate.
Gowline. Sorry, that's the CIA dude, I think, against Thomas Massie. Gowline. Okay. So yeah, congratulations, Kentucky. I hope you enjoy your CIA your CIA operative being in Congress representing the great nation state of Israel. I hope you enjoy that. That'll be very fun for you, I'm sure. Honestly, I don't think they'll care. Like I said, Republicans are willing to suffer for the cult leader, for like Donald Trump. So they don't. I don't think that they'll care that much if this guy is just representing Israel as opposed to Kentucky. But yeah,
you rightly predicted.
Yes, that is correct. Yeah, I thought I got that. So that was.
I will say this though: 55-45 is a lot closer than I think it would have been 2 years ago. Like if this exact same situation was happening 2 years ago, I think that it would have been a blowout for this Gallrain guy. I think that the anti-war stuff and the Epstein stuff potentially had a lot of salience for, like I said, some of the younger people in that district. It's just not enough to overwhelm the boomer Fox News viewers who went out like zombies in droves and did their duty to vote for the great cult leader of Donald Trump. So
2 for 2, right? Gowline and then Barr. And then down here, let me show you this, okay? I think this is very interesting, Sean. In Georgia, these results are still pretty fresh. Now, Georgia's got the rule. You got to get 50% or more. Otherwise, you got a runoff. And these two men, Burt Jones and Rick Jackson, will go to a runoff 4 weeks from now, okay? Because they did not reach the threshold. Burt Jones is the lieutenant general in Georgia. He was the first person in the state legislature to endorse Donald Trump, Sean, in 2015. Quite the claim. Rick Jackson, very much a newcomer to politics, raised poor in Fulton County, made a lot of money in health care. He's a billionaire. He's funding his own campaign. But Burt Jones got the endorsement on behalf of the president, which means so far tonight, he's 3 for 3 out of the White House in endorsements so far.
Well, that's a runoff, so that's not guaranteed yet, but okay.
And getting people over the line, and we'll see whether or not Burt Jones can beat Jackson in 4 weeks from tonight. There is one other race tonight out in Idaho. Polls don't close there till 11 o'clock. Brad Little wants to be the governor in Idaho. He needs a simple majority as well, so we'll get those results much later tonight, probably around midnight our time here on the East Coast. But right now, when the president puts his thumb on the scale of these elections, much as he did on Saturday, right, with Julia Letlow endorsing her and knocking Bill Cassidy out of a Senate primary, it's something else, and perhaps it portends something that will happen a week from today after the endorsement of Ken Paxton, who's trying to defeat John Cornyn in Texas. Very, very interesting developments. I'm sure the White House is very happy with what they're seeing so far, Sean.
I think you're right, Bill Hemmer. We'll come back to you throughout the evening.
Yeah, yep. Yeah, Trump still has his thumb on the party, so I'm looking at some of the comments. Mossad came in with the Tea Party wave and went out like a loser. Now I can move back to Kentucky, be back on my farm. Oh my God, dude. So these people, Jeffries is going to have a conniption. What is a conniption, dude? That's too big of a word, man. Yeah, I mean, this guy is, I think, the only person that sounds about like right. No one cares. It's just boomers doing what boomers do, screwing over the youth. Massie had the young vote. They aren't going anywhere while the boomers are on their way out. I mean, kind of. Yeah, I mean, yeah, these people. You can tell from the I mean, these are Fox News commenters, so they're and they seem to be all like, you can see that they're all gung ho for Massie being out, generally speaking. So yeah, there you go. Let's see. I had another one though about the Pennsylvania primary, which I think should include that Rabb guy, Chris Rabb. I don't know why I cannot remember that guy's name. So like, I don't know why, man. My brain, it just doesn't work. It doesn't work with names. Also, it's early and I haven't had enough coffee yet. So, okay, let's go ahead and watch this video now about the Pennsylvania Democratic primary winners.
And now you decide primary election night in Pennsylvania. The race in the Democratic primary for the U.S. House 3rd Congressional District has been called in the last 30 minutes. State Representative Chris Rabb, the presumptive winner with 44% of the vote, with 87% of the precincts or estimated votes counted. He's projected to beat out State Senator Sharif Street and Dr. Ayla Stanford and political newcomer and attorney Sean Griffith. So it's 11 o'clock. Thanks for joining us. I'm Jason Martinez.
And I'm Sheba Russell. We've got election results scrolling there at the bottom of your screen tonight as we closely track the key races in our region. Let's get out to our Shawnette Wilson live at Rabb's victory party in Germantown. Shawnette, how's the mood where you are?
Oh, it is a party here in Germantown, Sheba and Jason. We just made it after Chris Rabb made his speech here tonight, his acceptance speech. We slid in and people were pouring out into the streets of Germantown. Give you a look behind me. You can see the crowd remains here tonight long after Chris has left the stage.
Dude, this looks exactly like every DSA event I go to. All the people, man, they all look exactly the same. I guess it doesn't matter whether you're in Pennsylvania or St. Louis. All DSA members all look the fucking same.
Here, they are celebrating tonight a victory. A lot of them saying that this is a great move to have a progressive take the seat here and be the nominee for the Democratic Party. Many people today weren't weren't sure which way this race was going to go, but his supporters here said that they knew all along as the vote starts to come in, he would move to the forefront. And that's
Yeah, so like I talked about a little bit at the beginning, Rabb, I think, is the progressive candidate, right? He is, the Bernie-crat, if you want to like call him that, pro-working class, Medicare for all, anti-genocide. Like he calls Israel, like what Israel's doing, what it is. Like he's not afraid to, speak the truth about those types of issues. And so, yeah, I think this is an important, I would say it looks like, right, just number wise, it looks like a blowout, but there is like a situation here where they are kind of splitting the quote unquote non-progressive vote, I guess, to some extent, like the rest of these candidates, whereas Chris Rabb is not. And so like there is a chance that if one of them had dropped out, maybe it would have been different, although we don't know that for sure, because if one of them dropped out, maybe a bunch of those votes would have gone to Rabb as well. We don't know how exactly it would have shaken out. He potentially would have won regardless, even if you just look at this as like these two combined would have been 55-45. But that's not usually how it works, though. Usually when one person drops out, a portion of it, even if these two would be more aligned ideologically, and a majority of the people would have gone from, like, say, Allah to Sharif here, there still would have been, at least 5 or 6, 7%, I don't know, who would have gone over to Chris Rabb. That's just it's never 100% of people go to the other candidate like that. So it seems like this is basically I would still say that this is a pretty solid obvious victory for the progressive, the more progressive movement, the Bernie-crat style populist, left populist, which is what I keep saying is what you gotta. Those are the type of people you have to run. And then like when it comes to the general, right? This isn't like when it comes to the general, these types of candidates are the ones that are going to be more electable. They're the ones that are going to appeal more to independents and Republicans, because despite what the media tries to tell you, the Chris Rabb and like the left populists do not appear to the average voter to be more left or more radical. To most people, when they see people speaking the way that these left populists do about the working class and trying to fix their economic conditions and all that sort of stuff, they think that they're actually closer to the center. It's really weird. America's conception of left-right dynamics is completely busted. But yeah, they think that Zoran Mamdani is like more to the center than like Kamala Harris. They think Kamala Harris is like a left-wing communist or something, and they think Zoran Mamdani is like, oh yeah, he's like he's a little bit left. He's like a center-left guy or whatever. But I like him, and therefore he's not some like crazy leftist, or like that's how a lot of people think. And so these people, the Chris Rabb types, are going to be much more electable in the general. The more of these types of left populist politicians we get to win in Democratic primaries, the more success that we're going to have as the Democratic Party come November. So, but let me get back to where they were at the party.
Going to go, but his supporters here said that they knew all along as the vote starts to come in, he would move to the forefront, and that's exactly what he did. Let's take a listen to what he said from the stage tonight.
I'm looking at we the people. And I'm not talking about we the people 250 years ago. That was a much smaller we. I'm talking about the aggressive fabulosity of this we.
Fabulosity.
All right, and back here live, this is the nation's bluest seat here, bluest district seat. And you can just see here again a celebration. People just don't want to go home. You see one of the supporters walk by with a T-shirt that says support working families. And just, I don't know if it's, to say a shocker here, it is a full-on party here. Let's listen for a second.
I can't tell what they're saying, to be honest.
So they are celebrating tonight. I can tell you that we were with Ayla Stanford's campaign before we arrived here. And they early on were thinking that, she was going to pull through, and we watched those numbers quickly shift here. But people saying that, this is a departure from what we thought that we would see here. Also defeating State Senator Sharif Street, who has just as well a big political background tonight, but was defeated tonight. So again, Chris Rabb's camp here just celebrating a victory tonight. Jason and Sheba, so hard to hear you.
Well, I was trying to figure out what they were chanting out there, Shawnette. Could you make it out?
I couldn't. Let me see. Hang on.
Well.
AIPAC lost.
Oh, okay. So they're celebrating.
Nice. They were like, oh no, wait, I don't want to know that. They don't want to see the distaste for AIPAC. I don't know. This is like a local Fox station, so these people might not be as ideologically committed to the nation state of Israel. I shouldn't put words in, or I shouldn't put ideology in the reporters' mouths, I guess. But yeah, that is funny. They were saying AIPAC lost. She's like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have found out.
A victory, Chris Rabb. And
is he still in the building?
She's like, oh, can of worms. There's a can of worms. I don't want to talk about that.
Shawnette, have you seen
I
Chris?
don't know. I have not seen him. The crowd is so thick here, like.
Oh,
we just lost.
The crowd is so thick.
Lost her a little bit there, but we heard Chris Rabb give what sounded like a victory speech about 30 minutes ago, so maybe that was it for the night.
Yeah. So Chris Rabb is a professor and author. Again, he's a 5-term state representative, and by the looks of it here, it looks like that he will be heading to Congress in the new year, replacing Dwight Evans, who has decided not to run again, but there's no Republican running in this race. So we have the November midterms, and we have to get past that, which he's the only person there on the ballot. And so it looks like he'll be heading to Washington. Again, the presumptive winner here, and of course we'll have more election coverage right now for you.
And on Fox Local here as well. So Board of Bucks County Commissioners member Bob Harvey is the projected winner for the Democratic primary for Pennsylvania's 1st congressional district covering Bucks
Don't know anything about these two.
County. He leads by 36,000 votes with 66% of the estimated votes counted. Harvey will face GOP incumbent Congressman Brian Fitzpatrick in November.
Firefighter Bob Brooks is the projected winner.
I've heard about Bob Brooks, I think, or read about it maybe. I think that he was also like a left populist, if I remember correctly. I could be wrong on that, though.
For Pennsylvania's 7th congressional district, this includes all of Carbon, Lehigh, Northampton counties, and also parts of Monroe County. Brooks
1 second. Oh, maybe I'm wrong, though, actually. Let's see. Democrats nominated Bob Brooks, a blue-collar everyman backed by Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro, which Josh Shapiro kind of sucks, I think. So, but he leads a firefighters union. I mean, that's cool. Yeah, I don't know, though, because, yeah, if he was backed by Josh Shapiro, that gives me a little bit of an ick. So he might be like an Israel guy. I'm not really sure.
Brooks won with 42% of the votes. This is with 90% of the estimated votes counted. Brooks will face GOP incumbent Congressman Ryan McKenzie in November.
Okay, people, that's that when it comes to the election. That's all I'm willing to cover, because those are the only two that I really know that much about, is the Massie and the Gab or whatever, Rabb. Sorry, I can never remember it. I've looked it up 3 times already, dude. I keep looking it up. I'm like, what's his name again? I can never remember his fucking name. Oh my God, dude. This is why when I tell people that I'm not good with names, I don't think they understand. Like, I'm telling you, it's not like normal everyday person who says that they're not good with names. I'm telling you, I am like it's a disorder. Like I have some sort of like mental disorder when it comes to remembering people's names. Like it's bad. It is bad. Okay. Like I just looked up that guy's name 3 times within like 15 minutes. Like, okay. Anyway, sorry. Let's go ahead and move on.